Team is back. We're going live again this time. So another similar episode. Plenty of Q&A. Shoot your questions in. If you've got ideas for these teams as well, shoot those through too. I'll have a look at them. But otherwise, we're just going to go team by team. We'll look at the trades we recommend here. A lot of teams with very few trades right now as well. So keeping that in mind, we're going to be a little more conservative this week. First one here, we got Katsumi coming in. And also, guys, if you are watching, just drop a little note in. Who are you captaining this week? Let me know who you're captaining this week, and I'll look at some of those too. For me, it's probably Nico Hines. I'm going to try and find a way to trade him in. I think Pat Carrigan is my go because the Broncos are resting Carrigan, Haas, and Walsh. So for me, Carrigan missing this week and round 19, and the fact that he's probably not at that top echelon of gun. Makes him a guy that I might want to sell. And if I can get Nico Hines for him, that's a golden deal. A couple of answers coming in here. Aitken, got Hines as well. That's pretty exciting. All right. Hines is the player, I reckon, but Aitken could be baller. Good shout to Ollie on Hines next week. He does have a very high break even. So if you want to save cash, wait till next week. For me, I love the idea of just going through. And good to see Gun 40. Cooked up a couple of controversial trades. We'll get to those soon. So, Katsu first. You're missing two players this week. Definitely want to improve on Brayley, possibly target Egan or Api Coruscant. All right. So, we have a pretty strong first up team here. Selling Brayley makes sense. The rest of it looks pretty good. Looking all right for round 19 as well. And then the bench, a couple of players short. Okay. And then how many trades do we have left? 3 trades left. Okay. If you want to have 19, or if you want to have, I guess, 17 players this week, you'd have to use all 3 of those trades. And that's a tricky spot to be in. You don't have any of the Broncos boys, so you're looking all right in that front. You're counting on Mitch Moses backing up from Origin, which looks pretty likely. I think he was okay. And Isaiah Yeo as well, who's pretty solid too. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I mean, if I was going to do 3 trades here, I'm probably looking at, let me just get my notes up here as well. Let's see. You can sort of target any position that you're looking for here, really. Here we go. You can do Brayley out. So if we were going to sell 3 players, we're probably selling Brayley if you want to sell him, which is a fair shout. He's on the bench. And then we're probably looking at selling. Oh, this is tough. Because you want to keep Keeney, Cook, Campbell, Whiten, and Garrick. I'm actually thinking that maybe the better move for you is not to use 3 trades here. I think maybe you cop the lower number of players this week. My view here is I'm looking at this and thinking I'd probably sell Brayley and Kohler is probably my thought process there. If you've got 9K in the bank, you're basically pretty light on salary there. So it means that you want to get Coruscant as a bit of an upgrade on money, so you're going to have to make space, which is a tough one. You could either get Coruscant or you could go to Egan. Let's see what we can make space for here. Do you need a wing fullback? You've got a couple of wing fullbacks there. Actually, you're already pretty stacked at wing fullbacks. You don't really need that too much. Let's see. Yeah, you covered at wing fullback. I had a few options there for wing fullback. You could maybe look at center. Let's see. We've got a couple of centers there as well. Probably want to go into a different position. This is tough because we really need to find a cheapie for you, basically. So you could look at Brayley to Egan, frees up a lot of cash for you. The other option there is you go, this is tough, right? I don't know if I can fully recommend Sharp, but Sharp should play round 19. So I don't mind the idea of going Kohler to Sharp and Brayley to Coruscant. Otherwise, you can go Brayley to Egan and Kohler. You can upgrade to someone at around that 500K price point. You could take a gamble on Will Price. I don't mind that if you want to take that gamble. Or you could look at, and what else is there really? Like it's pretty bare, isn't it? Around that 500K price point. It's tough because you probably don't need the wing fullbacks, but I don't mind the idea of Greg Marzu for you as well, 449K. I think he's great value, plays around 19. I think you'll be able to move your team around enough that he will be able to play. Let's just check. Actually, no, you won't. No, you won't at all. Yeah, probably look at some of those players. So I'm thinking, yeah, either Egan or Coruscant. and then looking to buy a player around that 500k price point for Kola. So check out buy, hold, sell. We've got a few options there. It's a tough one. Can you afford Bryce Cartwright or Ryan Madison? Maybe that might be the option there instead. A few questions going through here too. I'll answer these as well. Early question, Longy. I saw Biz did the same. Need to trade out Johnson. Would you trade to Hughes, Tedesco, or a good mid AFB? Or would you trade Johnson and KPP to Hines and Marzu? I like Johnson and KPP to Hines and Marzu. I think it's a great trade. I'd go for that. Wing fullback is a dog shit. Yeah, it's pretty light. It's pretty light. So you almost don't want to force it at this stage. Buller from the Fiji Islands. Yeah, Buller's risky for fantasy. I'm not a big fan of that. Thoughts on Sharp with Ponga room to come back early? Yeah, look, it's making me a bit nervous about buying Sharp this week. I'm probably not going to do it now because there's talk that Ponga will be back in round 19. So I think it's a bit too risky. But I'm really trying to find another option here. It's a bit tough at that sort of cheaper area at the table. So we can have a look at that as we go along as well. Literally nothing. Why are you doing it so late? So I wanted to see the news from Origin, basically. I thought about doing it earlier in the week, but even the fact that we know that Carrigan, Haas, and Walsh aren't going to be backing up, that's good intel to have. The fact that we know that Hamaso is not going to be backing up, it means that Fuller goes from being a guy who I would be saying to sell to a guy who is definitely a hold at this stage. So yeah, that's the shout there. Should I go hands to Jezewski because I need an edge? Another good players to trade out. Yeah, Jezewski is tough. So he has 2 weeks of good scores in him, and then he's going to disappear, basically. So I don't think so. It's a move. I mean, if you need a cash out, it's a good shout. Newcastle being very careless if they rush Ponga back. Yeah, it's a pretty risky move for them to do, but if they do it, I don't know. They're in that hunt for the finals. If Ponga's fit, right? So maybe the initial estimate was a bit over the top, and he's tracking good. We'll see how that plays out. My feeling is that Sharp will probably play around 19, but I'm not inside the Knights camp, so it's a tough one. And then I'm just going to keep going through some of these guys here. So let's go through some of these teams. And guys, shoot your suggestions through as well as we go through these too, and what you think. And I'll have a look at some of your options there too. But for this team here, so we got Willie 1300. All right, we got a solid starting forward pack. Aitken is flexible. That's nice. Teddy captain. Okay, cool. And then the bench here, Cotter could back up. Johnson needs to go. Okay, so again, I'm thinking which 5 players am I willing to cop not playing this week, or which 4 players? So obviously Damien Cook, I think Ruben Garrick as well, Dave Fafita, that's an easy 3. And then I'd probably say Jack Whiten over Kohler, depending on the team. Let's have a look at the team. So you got a wing fullback here already. Jack Whiten, you've already got your centers covered there. Probably more need the wing fullback. You got your half spot. You got Galvin already. Okay, and you're a bit lighter at half. Yeah, okay, keeping White's a good shout. I'd probably be looking at making a couple moves here. So I think you keep Brandon Hands. I think he's a solid option for round 19, even though Matt Arthur's on the bench. I think Matt Arthur plays pretty small minutes. Ollie, I reckon Whiten's actually not too bad. So he's a guy who scores 25 to 30 points, and you add attacking stats on top of that. South Sydney have a good run home. He's averaged 46 at number 6 in the past. I reckon he can average 40 on the stretch home. So I don't mind him with dual position. But for this team, I'm probably looking at trading Sean Johnson and how many trades left? 3 trades left. Okay. Probably SJ. I'm pondering Cotter here, actually. I don't really want to sell Cotter desperately, but I'm pondering selling Cotter at this stage for this team. You could sell Kohler as well. So SJ and Kohler is probably the safer option there. And then looking at some of the buys. So, I mean, you've got a bit of money with SJ there that you can play with. You've got 100K in the bank as well. So with that, you've probably got... what's SJ worth? So 650. Kohler's sort of in that 400s area. If you're looking at about 1.2 million to play with. Again, there's a few guys around like a Will Price is kind of interesting at 400K. It's very risky. It's a bit of a gamble. You could look at what positions do we need here. Backline's pretty clean. Forward pack's pretty clean as well, actually. You probably don't need too many numbers for that round. You could look at targeting Nico Hines. This could be an option for you, actually. So if you wanted to go after Nico Hines, you'd then need to get basically a base price guy. I don't mind for your team if you went Sean Johnson, Tolu Kola out, and you bought Nico Hines and Jack Jezewski. Now, I'm not hyped on Jack Jezewski, but the big thing is he's 230K. So I think for you, that's 2 trades. You get a top gun keeper in Nico Hines. You can captain him this week. He plays the first game of the round. That's what I'm thinking is the play for you this week. Let me know, though. Obviously, you can chat in the Discord as well. If you've got any trade ideas that you're thinking of that are different to that, but that's what I'd be targeting. Just trying to get that top gun with Nico Hines in particular. All right, only Ducky, you're up next. Let's see this team here. So we got, strong forward pack, looking really good. Pretty good coverage for round 19 already. Jerome Hughes as captain is solid as well. Backline is looking good. Okay, overall, you're in a good spot. The bench here is interesting. So Robson's going to maybe back up. We have no confirmation on that. Hopgood's gone for the season, so Hopgood is a definite sell. And then Jaden Campbell's back round 19, so I'm not super worried about him. I underestimated how many players everyone was going to have out this week. My team's pretty cruisy. I don't have too many of these Titans, Rabbitohs, Manly players. But if I'm you, I'm probably looking at not really touching the starting team and sort of going after how much cash do we have? We have 4 trades. Okay, good amount of money to use. All right, I'm thinking Jermaine Hopgood out and got to sell someone else. Robson's not convincing to me, and you do need a round 19 hooker. So what I'd be doing if I was you is probably going Hopgood and Robson out if Robson doesn't play this week. If Robson plays, hold on to him. If he doesn't play, I would trade Robson to Coruscant. I think the buy schedule is really good, and I think you still make a little bit of money off that. So Robson to Coruscant means you can trade Hopgood to whoever you want, and I'd go Hopgood to Nico Hines. That's an easy one for you. Just confirming, though, that it works for your team. So if you move Aitken to the back row, then Jack Whiten becomes your starting center. Garrick and Campbell go into the wing fullback slots. Yeah, you're all clear. So yeah, I would do that. Robson to Coruscant if Robson doesn't play. And even if he does play, I don't mind that move actually. And then Hopgood to out for Nico Hines. I think targeting Nico Hines early is a good move. And when you don't have that many trades left, so 4 trades is actually pretty solid, but if you don't have that many trades left, you don't really need to be exploiting cash too much. So that's the move I'd make. I'll just have a look at these two. Hey, Appy's that guy. The buy schedule's good. He was a better buy last week. So if you got on last week, you're doing better than most. Cook over Appy, yeah, but Cook is more expensive as well. And Cook doesn't play this week, so it's not super helpful right now. Longy, I said last week, do we take a risk on Brandon Smith? You said no chance, stay away. Big mistake. Still a good move. He's 411K right now, and there's a reason why I'm not telling anyone to buy him. So with Brandon Smith, you've got Connor Watson back into the team. Connor Watson will probably play a lot of hooker, and they're trying to get rid of Brandon Smith. So I reckon Brandon Smith will be a real disappointment down the stretch. He doesn't play round 19 either. There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it at all. He might play all right this week, but he'll be a dud going forward, is my view. Then, provided Brimson doesn't get moved to center. Yeah, this is tricky. So Campbell has good job security, I would say. And then for Keeney doesn't have the best job security, but his form is crazy. So that's a tricky part of that. I don't know what they're going to do. I think Brimson to center makes some sense, especially coming back from injury. They could also move Campbell to center. Like it's a tough one. It's a really tough one. But yeah, the price point is the attractive part there too. Would you prioritize keeping Green Dot KPP and selling Cola or vice versa? Yeah, 100%. So if you've got a Green Dot this week and you need the players this week, keep KPP over Cola. Cola has very, very low likelihood of being a keeper. Whereas KPP, all that needs to happen is one injury or a late change or Frizzell goes to prop or whatever it is, right? And KPP becomes a guy that you can keep the rest of the year. So I would rather hold KPP over Cola this week, 100%. I have 3 on the buy, but Preston and Carrigan kill me. Yeah, Preston, he might get big minutes. It's hard to tell. Carrigan is definitely not going to play, so that's a tough one. Got on Cook right before he popped off. Yeah, he was a good strike about a month ago. That was the play 100%. So if you got on that, you are cheering. Discord link as well is just in the chat there too. So guys, jump in that. That's how you get into rate my team and pick my team. And there's a bunch of other chat as well there, which is really fun. Mulatalo or Osako are both absolute wild cards. I like the fixtures for the Sharks better. So I probably would go Mulatalo, but I think Osako is the better fantasy player. So it's a tough one. I'm tipping Mulatalo out of those two, but they're risky, man. They're really risky, especially considering we're going to want those gun wing fullbacks in like 3 weeks' time. We're going to be getting guys like Latrell Mitchell, who's averaging close to 60, Dylan Edwards, who's going great as well, James Tedesco. All these sorts of players are going to be available for us at that point. We're getting on Tungo. So if you need a center, I actually like this one a lot. Tungo, 441K. It's a price where you're getting a guy who I think will be a keeper for the rest of the year when Cleary comes back, and Cleary's going to be back very soon. So if you need a center, Tungo's a really good shout for the rest of the year. Don't do my team yet. I got to. All right, I'll wait for you. Jack Wallace, not sure. Let's see. So we'll leave that with Discord. Cardi or Matto? Matto has dual position, and Matto could theoretically crush it on the stretch. I'm leaning towards Matto. I think Matto has massive upside. I've grabbed him in a few draft leagues. Would I get him for my classic team? Right now, my trades actually have Matto included in them. So, yeah, I like the Matto option a lot. But I really like to think about it that final day. So I make content sort of Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday. And then just before the game is sort of when I really try and get a vibe, trust in the heart of the cards. If you watch Yu-Gi-Oh, that sort of thing. All right, let's keep rolling through here. So who we got next? Let's see. Think of getting rid of SJ. Yep, good. All right, Moody. Let's go to Moody's team here now. So, all right, this is a pretty strong team for round 19 straight away, I'm seeing. Already got Sharp, which is good. Yeah, Manu, Iro. Let's see the bench. Come on, lots of green dots. Okay, Suafe Longo is a really easy sell. Hughes is a guy you could sell as well. Strange is a guy you could sell if you wanted to. This is not too tricky. So as long as you have a couple of trades, all right, you got 2 trades left. That's a little scarier. And just a question here. I want to answer this one quickly. Matto or Nakora, I actually like. Matto's got more upside, but Nakora is probably the better option. So I'd probably go Nakora over Matto. But if the middle position is a bit tough for you, then you can go Matto. But for me, I'm pretty covered at the middle. So I'd probably go Nakora myself. All right, let's have a look at this. So 2 trades left, 121K. It's a tough one to use your last 2 trades, even though it will buy you 2 players, because these moves are going to have to really nail it for you. So Suafe Longo is a really easy sell for you. But I don't know if it's worth selling Sam Hughes. I'm looking at this team and I almost think like you just cop the crappy little Sam Hughes score and you keep your 1 trade, because anyone you could afford for Sam Hughes is going to be pretty terrible, right? So you've got 121K in the bank, and Suafe Longo, what's he priced at? Let's just check it out. Let's go to the stats center. Sua. Let's see, where are you at, Sua? Why is it showing up like this? What is that? That's so weird. Okay. I need to score anyway. All right, 492K. Okay. 42K plus 121K. So 592, 93. Okay, 16. What can I get for 613K? It's probably some of those guys we're talking about there, right? So, oh, nice, cool. I'll ask you those, Jahu. So yeah, 613K then. I would. Does your team need a back rower, Moody? Let's see. So you've got Sorensen and Blore. Sorensen is a middle option, and you got Fafita. Okay, I don't mind this actually. I think Suafe Alongo and Nakora is a really easy trade for you. That makes sense to me. That buys you 50 odd points. Cronulla have the Dogs this week, which is not an easy fixture, but they then have 2 really easy fixtures after that. In terms of not easy, but big attacking stats on option. So I would go Suafe Alongo to Nakora. Good shout, Jahu, too, that Pappenhausen is in doubt. So if Pappenhausen doesn't play and Sua plays, don't do the trade. But if Sua, you can still do the trade. I still think it's worth doing this trade because it buys you an extra player for round 19. But just keep it in mind. And Mohammed as well. Yeah, you too. But I still reckon Balongo's break even is not going to be great after last week. 30-point break even. I still think it's worth getting the upgrade, but look, if Fairlongo plays, then you probably don't have to do any trades at all. So if he plays, don't trade because you've only got 2 left and it's probably not worth it. But if he doesn't play, move him to Nakora is my answer there. In terms of captains, Hughes is a great captain. You're on the money there. I would make your vice captain someone who plays in that first game. So the Sharks and the Dogs, Iro or Max King are not super convincing, but you just don't want your vice captain to be locked in too early. That's the big tricky part of that. Or even make it someone who you definitely wouldn't sell. So Jerry Marshall King, for example, you probably wouldn't sell him, even if he was out for a week. Okay, good shout there. You've got 2 options there. Riley, is Riley back? Was it Riley before that said don't do my team until I'm back? I can't remember. I'll do it, and then if Riley comes back, we can do it again. Okay, so let's have a look at this team. Father Riley's in. It's all right, cool. Connor Watson, that's good. He will back up well, is my prediction on that. Harry Grant, okay, yep. Rest of the team is looking solid. Jerome Hughes, Dylan Edwards. I would make Hughes your captain over Edwards, just because Edwards is backing up from Origin, and you never know. Backing up from Origin, Edwards had a couple of injuries lately as well. I think the easy move there is to just captain Hughes, but if you want to stick with that one, you can stick with that as well. Bench is good. You're looking clean on the bench. You don't really need to do anything. Simpkins' photo needs upgrading. There's a weird shadow on that. But I don't know if you need to trade. Do you have any trades? You got 1 trade. Okay. If you got 1 trade, I wouldn't do anything. This is a great roster. You're looking good. You're already looking quite strong for that final buy round. You and Aitken will have to go into the back row for you. Just keep that in mind because you're going to have Ira coming into center. And then Garrick and Kohler will both go into the wing fullback slots with Sharp. So your back line's looking solid. Your halves pairing, if you count hands, is there as well. You got Simpkin as your hooker. Forward pack, probably a little light on the forward pack, but can't be perfect everywhere, right? So I think that's okay. I wouldn't do any trades here. That's an easy choice. All right, Riley, your team. I reckon don't do any trades at all. 1 trade left. Your team's looking really good. You could use a trade if someone's a late out, but you're not looking like copying any of those. So I think you're going to be clean. Stick with it. I would captain Hughes myself, but if you like Edwards, he could easily beat Hughes. But for me, Hughes is an easy option, not backing up from Origin. That's the big thing. And Mohammed, I'll just get your question as well. So let's see. How about going JDB to Nakora? I personally, if you're low on trades, I'm not a fan of selling JDB just because he plays round 19. And he's been really dodgy lately, but he could easily bounce back to a decent score this week. I think Jack DeBellin, you're going to cop a bit of a cash loss on this, but you don't want to buy any of these other round 19 options. So for me, I'm really cautious about selling any of these players who play round 19. If they play round 19, I'm just kind of thinking, you know what? I'm going to stick with them. Same as Kohler, if you can. But if you need players for this week, obviously that's a different conversation. So JDB is a guy I'd hold if I was you. All right, who to captain? That's Hughes for you. Let's see. Yeah, I swapped my captain to Hughes. I'm afraid with Edwards, he could get a rest. With Laurie on the bench, Moody could also be goal kicking. 100%. There's a few things there. Overall, I think that's a safer move. You can do the pod move, but it's a tough one. Brayley to Sharp. There's a risk that Ponga is going to be back in round 19. There's a bit of reports going around about that. That makes Sharp a little bit useless. He'll make you 100k or something like that, which is not the worst. And he plays Parramatta this week, who can't tackle anything. So he could be an option that lights it up for a short period. But I'm cooling on Sharp. I probably wouldn't do it. I'd try and find another trade for Brayley myself. Is Brayley a hold or a sell? He's on the bench again. It's a bloody disaster. It's a disaster. I think he's a sell. I think he's a hard one to keep. Alexander Kohler plus 140k in the bank. Doesn't matter positions except hooker. Play 17-19. You could look at Madison. That's an option there. At that price, you could look at Will Price at the Knights as well. He's at 400k. I've heard good things about him. A bit risky, but you could do that. You could have a crack at what else we got? Greg Marzu, I like him for round 19. Isaac Tungo is a keeper for the rest of the year. They're probably the options I'd be looking at for you. But if you got Kohler there, I'd probably hold Kohler unless you need to play for this week. That's the big thing. All right, let's keep rolling through here. Who we got next? We got Beden. Beden, what are we doing here? All right, that rank is in a better spot. That's good. Nico Hines as captain is really nice to see. Cotter probably backs up, but we don't know for sure. Backline is looking really solid. The bench, again, Robson, we don't know if he backs up as well. We know for sure that Carrigan's not going to back up, which is worth noting. If you have a lot of trades, we might do something with that. And then Pierce, Paul, and Brayley are pain points for you. That's the tough part. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. You've preloaded it. I actually love that you've done this. So you put Brayley and Pierce Paul in. You got 1.402 million. You've done the math for me. That's legendary stuff. Okay, so what are we going to do here? If we sell those two, I'm okay with doing this plan with you, and we can sell those two. I'm also okay with selling Carrigan. I know. I'm just looking at him. And I don't think he's a full blown keeper for the rest of the year. And I think if you can use Carrigan to get to Hines, this isn't relevant for your team. You already got Nico Hines. If you can use Carrigan to get to a gun player, he doesn't play this week. He plays round 18. Doesn't play round 19. He'll play reduced minutes in round 20. So that's the tough part. And good question here too, Ephraim, is Madison actually set to go? Because he's a guy we would look at here. It's not certain, right? So the safe move is actually to wait a week on Madison and to get him next week. But theoretically, as a para fan, if they're configured the way I expect them to be configured, he will take the Hopgood role almost in its entirety, and he'll be a rocket for the rest of the year. So he should be solid. All right, let's have a look here. So what are we going to do? If we have that much money, so 1402, and your team, what do you need? Your team is, okay, you got the hooker covered, you got the halves covered, the centers are covered, wing fullback have got Sharp plus Garrick. Don't have Latrell for that week. Okay, so we need a wing fullback for round 19. And then the back row spot theoretically could be covered. Front row, need one more. Back row is covered. Front row is tricky. Okay, Brayley is actually excess to requirements as well. So you actually don't need him for round 19, so I actually don't mind this trade. You could probably get a middle and a wing fullback if you were targeting round 19. So a middle and a wing fullback. What are we doing there? All right, we've got this amount of money, a middle and a wing fullback. I really like the idea, and I know it's a night for a night, but I like the idea of getting Greg Marzu for you. 449K. He's a guy who could bounce back to a big price. So the reasons for Greg Marzu: one, he's playing Parramatta this week, who have not been defending wing as well. Two, he has a good run of fixtures going into round 19. Three, Kalen Ponga is back either round 19, 20, or 22. Ponga back means great ball for Marzu and more tries. And four, Newcastle have gone on a run before in this situation, and I think they might go on a bit of a run again. So Greg Marzu is going to be that guy. So let's say we get Greg Marzu here, 449K. That leaves you with about 950K to do whatever the hell you want with. Okay, you've got heaps of cash now. Now we start to think about, do we actually want to sell Kai Pierce Paul then? Because 950K is a lot of money to have. I mean, you could do it. Who would we get for Kai Pierce Paul? Let's have a look at who's available here. So if we get some of these players, we just sort by. Let's get rid of the names. Sort by price. You've got money to do whatever you want. All right, actually, how am I overlooking this? You have Nico Hines already, yeah. I mean, you could save some money. Cleary's going to be back pretty soon. Could be an option for you soon. Gussie Crichton. Don't know about him on the backup. Isaiah Yeo on the backup as well is a bit tricky to buy into. Connor Watson could be a shout for you actually there. So you could go Greg Marzu and Connor Watson. I actually don't mind that. Connor Watson played very few minutes in Origin, so he'll be fine to back up. I wouldn't go for Hughes now. I think it's too late to get Jerome Hughes. Tarpane, I'm not that interested. FB, meh. Yeah, this is tricky. There's no one really jumping out at me. Going down the list. I mean, Brown plays. Moses plays. No, he doesn't play Origin. Takamanu's there. Still not a bad option to look at as well. Gagai at center. I think you probably want to get a middle, is what I'm thinking. So this is going to be up to your personal preference. I'm going to throw a few options at you. But if you're getting a middle, for me, it's either Connor Watson, because you think he's a season-long keeper. He'll get that hooker eligibility at some point as well. So not a bad shout. I think this is probably the best option for you, getting Connor Watson and Greg Marzhew. You could go with, I mean, who else? Who else do you really want? Who have you got? You've got Binu Plath, Cotter. They can all move positions. You could take a look at, I don't know, Fanua Blake's getting a bit cheaper, but he's been out of form and the Warriors been really bad, so I don't really like that too much. Stefano's on the rise, but safe to score with the try last week, so not that convincing. He's probably the second best option here. I wouldn't do Terrell May or Mitch Barnett personally. Jack DeBellin wouldn't touch him. Tohu Harris is very risky with his injury history as well. We're getting down to Adam Elliott. I mean, I guess he covers round 19, so that's not the worst thing. Connor Watson doesn't play round 19. This is tough. This is really tough. I'm probably leaning towards Connor Watson, actually. If you really want to get around 19 guy, I don't mind Ryan Madison. But overall, I think the trade for you this week is to move these two players on for Greg Marzhew and Connor Watson. I think that's a nice pod for you to jump onto. His minutes in Origin are really low, so you're going to be all clear, I reckon. All right, let's get rolling through. We got Gun 40, and you've got... Oh, here we go. Actually, sorry, before I do move through, playing head-to-head, so round 19 is important. That makes Connor Watson even better. So you're all clear. I still think Marzhew is a good shout for head-to-head. Thinking I'd like to get a gun, but a lot of the guys are Origin guys. Feeling the pressure to sell both Brayley and KPP, keeps the money in reserves. Guys like Cleary and Ponga in a few weeks. Is it time to buy Tungo? Actually, that's a really good shout for you as well. Season-long keeper at a discount price, Tungo. So you could go with him instead of Marzhew if you wanted to. I think they both have equal upside. So thinking Brayley to Tungo and KPP to Grant. Grant, honestly, for head-to-head, Grant's a good shout as well. I like that too. If you want to get that hooker option and you're not worried about the Origin rounds, then those are good trades as well. So Brayley to Tungo, KPP to Grant, that's another option. Have a look at that too. I wouldn't get Haas or Gus Crichton because they're getting those rests as well. So Haas is obviously out this week. Crichton is out maybe this week. There's a bit of talk that you could get a rest, and I'd probably steer clear of them until the end. All right, Gun 40. Let's have a look at this. So just 2 trades left. Not sure whether to make a trade this week or not, and just wait for Nico to hopefully drop in price this week or grab him next week. Let's see what we got here. So a lot of green dots in the starting side, looking strong. Bench, give me some green dots. We got 5. All right, we're solid. We are in a good spot. McKaylee, do we count him as a green dot? We'll just count it. And then 2 trades left. Okay, I don't think you need to do too much. The idea of targeting Nico for you is a really good move, but Jerome Hughes as captain is actually rock solid right now. If you didn't have Jerome Hughes, I'd be more concerned, but because you have him, I trust him quite a bit as a captain this week. So what would I do if I was you? I mean, who are your sell options here? Your whole back line is pretty solid. Borderline keepers. Your forward pack is solid as well. This is a tough one because the only guy that's shouting out to me to sell is McKaylee. He's not worth anything. So you got 7K, whatever McKaylee costs. I mean, you could force it. You could do... I don't know, what's he priced at, McKaylee? Like, let's have a look at him. So McKaylee's at 340K, so you got 347K. It's not a lot of money to use. I don't like any of these options. You could move. All right, if you wanted to, it's a bit risky. It's a little bit risky. You'll buy yourself some points this week, and you'll theoretically buy yourself some points in round 19 as well. So you could move McKaylee on for 2 players. Well, 3. I'm going to give you 3 options, actually. So McKaylee for first option, Fletcher Sharp. Fletcher Sharp plays Parramatta this week, should score well, should play round 19. There's talk that Ponga might be back for round 19. That would screw you over. If Ponga's back, that's going to hurt you. But overall, Fletcher Sharp should be a good scorer this week, and he'll outscore McKaylee by at least 20 points, is my prediction there. So Fletcher Sharp's that first option. Second option is you could buy Jack Jezewski. Jezewski has 2 weeks starting as the back row for the Broncos. They're resting a lot of players this week. He plays around 19 as well, so should get some minutes off the bench, but he's the starting back row for 2 weeks, and he'll probably score you, let's call it 80 points over 2 weeks, right? That's probably the number that I think he'll get to, maybe 70 points, which is pretty solid. And for your team, it's not the worst thing in the world to have him coming in. Third option there is to go down cheaper and just take a real gamble here and go Jack Howarth, named starting center. He has about 10% chance of holding the spot, but I just think he has massive upside. So that's a crazy risky option. I'm going to mention it. Probably wouldn't do it. But they're the 3 options you could look at there. The other option for you is just to not trade at all and just, trust that Blair's telling you will score well. Bring him in. Don't play McKaylee. Keep your 2 trades. I actually don't mind that too much either. Because with 2 trades left, but we've got, this is around 17, 18, 19, 20. You've got a month of footy basically till you get more trades. So the other option there is just to not trade at all. If there are big injuries, you'll want to be able to trade your big scorers. So my advice is probably to hold, but if you do want to move McKaylee on for Fletcher Sharp, that's a fair trade as well. They're the 2 options I'd look at for you. We'll look at some of these questions now. Would you go Johnson and KPP for Hines and Mazu, or straight trade for Connor Watson? I think the 2 trades is good there. Yeah, Johnson and KPP for Hines and Mazu. You get your season-long captain, so that's a great shout. I would do that. Jezewski, yeah, exactly. Historically a plotter. That's why I put him down for sort of 70 points over 2 weeks. So it's a 35-point average. I reckon he plays close to 80 minutes. So 35 points is pretty conservative. And then Jahu, yeah, my brother clicked on the link. Oh, we're talking about, let's see, we're talking about Discord there. If Joe gets starting lock roll, no, I'm not interested in Joe Off-Hangawi at all. Off-Hangawi, you'd have to do a lot to turn me around on this, but his minutes at Parramatta have been disastrous, so not interested there. Let's see, keep rolling through. Mazu or Madison? Mazu is the safer option. Madison, you'll know more next week, so I would try to save trades to look at Madison next week. Madison could be a keeper for you. That's the crazy thing about Madison, but we need to see how it plays out this week. That's the thing, right? So you can take the gamble right now. There's probably not a lot of downside in Madison. It also depends on your team too. Like, what do you want for your team? Madison has really nice dual position and is a bit more flexible for your roster, whereas Mazu is just a wing fullback. So it's up to your personal preference, but I'm probably leaning towards Madison, depending on your roster. That's a big thing. Cotter to Connor Watson. If Cotter doesn't play, yeah, 100%. That's a great trade. Connor Watson's on fire right now. Jack Wallace will keep going. Jahu, oh my God. Blake Brealey as a buy. Nah. I like Coruscant, Egan, or Simpkin next week. I think Simpkin next week is a good shout. But Coruscant, Egan, Simpkin are all better than Blake Brealey as buys. I'm not interested in Blake Brealey. Scoring's been really inconsistent. Sako or Mazu in the coming weeks? I think Mazu is the better option. I think Ponga coming back is big news. Mazu has really good fixtures coming up, and they both play around 19, but I'd go Mazu. Let's keep rolling through. Went Sewer to Tungo and have 2 trades left. Yeah, that's a good trade. I like that trade. Then Teddy a buy or a must-have. He's a keeper. He's a keeper wing fullback, right? Doesn't play around 19. But he's a keeper wing fullback. Has the Tigers this week. I don't mind that fixture. I don't think he's a must-have, but if you want to go get him, I like him, obviously. I like him a lot. I've had him since round 1. Trade KPP and Twile to Mazu and Watson. Great trades. Really like that. Oh, my God. So much Discord chat. Guys, don't get banned in the first place. That's my advice. I was thinking of trading Hughes and AFB for Hines and Fino since that round 19 coverage as well. That's a tough one. I personally wouldn't be trading AFB if I was you. That's just my feeling. I think you bought him as a keeper. I would keep him. And I would, and you also don't have that many trades. I'm gonna say no to those trades. If you want to do it, you can do it, but I'm not into it. How have you been? I've been good, man. Life's busy. There's a lot going on. Playing a lot of golf lately, actually. Does anyone actually let me know in the comments, guys? Quick yes, no. Do you play golf? Are you interested in golf? Does anyone play golf? I'm pretty average at golf, but I like I like it a bit. I'm like sort of coming out of rugby Dan time and rugby longy and going into golf longy. So we'll see how we go. Okay, let's keep going. What do you think will happen with Manly backline if Turbo plays center? My view on that is that Garrick goes back to the wing, and it probably means that either Kola or Talau is going to be out of the team. Historically, that would mean Talau is out of the team. That's probably my guess of what happens. But Kola could be the option that moves as well. I think Saab is pretty locked in. I think Garrick is pretty locked in. Lehigh Hopewadi. They're not going to move Kola back to fullback to make space for that. So I think my guess is that Talau would be cut out of the team. That was how they did it at the start of the year as well. Longy streaking, straight facts, exactly. Always do. Best head-to-head buys. Who's going to make you money, right? So if I'm in head-to-head, I'm thinking, all right, who's going to make me cash? That cold hard cash. If I had a head-to-head team, I like the guys I'm talking about, like Tungo and Mazu. I think are really good options for head-to-head. You could look at, because they're just so cheap, right? So you're getting potential keepers for a really low price. Otherwise, I'd be targeting Nico Hines, right? They're sort of the players that I'd be thinking about. You just wouldn't worry about buys as much as the difference. And then let's keep a look at these. I feel like there's a whole biff going on in here. Please and sorry goes a long way. You guys all right? Then I bought Maddo in when he was playing ruled out. Oh yeah. It's tough. You probably don't want to bring him back. Give him a rest. Jack, big golfer. Awesome, man. Awesome. Love to see it. Average as. That's good. Right. You like me. And then Jahu used to, but then you dropped it for F1. F1's pretty solid still. People like F1. Don't mind a bit of golf. That's cool. We got Jacob goes to the driving range sometimes. Love a bit of golf. Oliver. Golf is my therapy. I just have no time. That's the problem in the world, isn't it? Where's the 4-day work week? That's what we need. Make more time for golf. Hines a must buy this week. Can wait for a price drop. I like the idea. Dom Toretto, by the way, that's a great username. I like the idea of getting Hines right now and just making the move. But you can also wait a week for a price drop as well. Let's pound through some of these teams here now. So I'm just going to go through some of these and then we'll do some more questions at the end. So we've got Wicked here, Coruscant as captain, really good starting side. You got Moses in there, hoping he backs up. Bench is a lot of green dots as well. I don't think you need to do too much. I think you're fine. Xavier Wilson's going to score well this week as well. Like no Broncos are backing up. You got a spare player in Sam Hughes. We could look at selling him if we wanted to. I would keep Fafita, Campbell, and Kohler. How many trades you got left? You got 3 trades left. No cash. Wow, that's impressive. Yeah, if I'm you, I like that you vice captain Iro as well. He plays the first game of the round. If I'm you, I'm not making any trades, but I do think that Coruscant's captain is a dud move this week. Do what you want to do. Captain calls are totally up to you, right? I'm just going to give you my opinion. I think the Roosters will be pretty explosive through the middle, and my pick is that Coruscant will miss at least 5 tackles this week. Not necessarily that they're going to be bad misses or anything like that, but the Roosters players they're guys who bump guys off, and Coruscant, I think, will be one of the guys who gets bumped off a bit. So who would I captain if I was you? Oh, it's tough. You could look at Aitken as a captain option. Who else? Connor Watson is actually, you know what? If I was you, I'd captain Connor Watson. Bang. He played really small minutes in Origin, so I think you're fine with that. Captain Connor Watson, don't make any trades is my advice there. Ephraim, let's see this team. Heaps of green dots again. Yeah, it's a really strong starting side. Bench is good too. 6 trades left. Okay. You're in a good spot. Let's see what we want to do. We could sell Kai Pierce-Paul if we want to. I think you can afford to keep Kohler, so I personally would. You aren't really at risk of too many guys backing up from Origin, so you should be fine. Okay, so we've got Kai Pierce-Paul, 75k. So you got 700k to spend on a player, and you need. So you got Harry Grant hooker. Brandon Hands can play hooker or half. Let's see, Reed Marnie. Do you have the halves? Iro and Blaze, but Blaze can go to wing fullback. Kohler, Garrick, let's say they're wing fullbacks. Whiten's a center. That means you need a half. Okay. Your back row is looking good already. Your middles. Your middles are a bit short, unless you move finer. So you have to buy one forward, basically, is what I'm saying here. And you could get a hooker. So you can get a forward or a hooker. It's kind of your call. I'll throw a few options at you. If you want to sell Kai Pierce-Paul, Britton Nakora is an option. Appy Coruscant is an option. Who else? They're probably the two I like. You could go to Bryce Cartwright, Ryan Madison, one of those guys. I think Nakora or Coruscant are your two safe options. For mine, I'd probably target Nakora if I was you. But then that does mean... Actually, no, you got dual position guys in your edge back row spots too. So yeah, I would go Nakora. So KPP to Nakora, easy trade. For captaincy, I mean, you could potentially try to make 2 trades and target Nico Hines as well. I don't know if you need to. You could do that too. So one option there is KPP to Nakora. Other option is to go KPP and... So the thing is, KPP gets you 700k. Nico Hines is 940k or something like that. So you need to grab another 240k. It's very hard to do. Like, none of these players are going to get you there. I don't think you can do it. I think go KPP to Nakora, save your trades, see what you can do next week, and hope that everyone else gets screwed over by injuries. That's what's going to help you, Ephraim. All right, Peter Volandi, the man who said, let's go live. Let's see. Are you in the house, mate? Oh, Ephraim here too. Hands at hooker. Yeah, hands could be hooker or half. That's the thing. Flexibility for you is the big thing. All right, so let's have a look at this. So we've got Peter Volandi. All right, good side so far. Lots of players for round 19, which looks good. You got Fletcher Sharp already. Hopefully he plays for you round 19. Brandon Smith is a mad dog move. Mad dog move. Here we go. Peter Volandi. Secret. It's a good name. Let's see the bench here. Obviously, Carrigan's not backing up. So you're going to need to make at least one trade with that. Do you have any trades left? You got 7 trades left, 107k. Okay, you're in a good spot with trades. What would you be doing? What are you thinking of doing? I'm thinking I should trade Kohler for a full 17 this week. Otherwise, not exactly sure. You could trade Kohler. You could trade Kohler, or you could trade Carrigan. What's Carrigan worth? So Carrigan's worth 777k. You have 107k. Okay, you're not quite there. Okay, maybe you don't then. You could trade Carrigan and Kohler. So one option that I actually really like for this team, and I'm just going to make sure it works. I think it should work for you. Yeah, Jerome Hughes won't play around that round. Okay, for you, I'd probably be looking at doing a couple of trades here. I'm thinking that Carrigan and Kohler out, because you have so many trades, right? You got 7 trades left. So I'm thinking Carrigan and Kohler out, and then buying 2 players, and one of those being Nico Hines, and make Nico Hines your captain this week. So if you went Carrigan and Kohler out, you could get Nico Hines and then a player for like mid 300s kind of area. And you could look at a few guys. I don't know what positions you need, but you just get a guy at that sort of cheaper price point, right? So you could look at maybe a Jack Jezewski just for that round 19 cover. And you could play him this week as well. That might be an option. You could maybe look at who else is around. Probably Jezewski is the main one there. It frees up some cash for you. He's a bit of a cash out option. So I would do that. Carrigan, Kohler out, Nico Hines, Jezewski in, and roll with that is my advice there. All right, next team here. Give me one sec, guys. Actually, who are people thinking, by the way? So for this week, we did ask it before. Sub 500k. If you had to pick one captain for this week, which player would you captain at sub 500k? Who would be your option? Also, that sucks too. Preston out for tomorrow's game. I'm not sure if he is. Is Preston out? I thought he was on the bench, but I haven't seen the latest update, so he might be out now. Ooh, Tomoko. Tomoko being that cheap is crazy. 499k. That's pretty wild. Mazu, yeah, that's who I picked on buy hold sell against Biz as well. I reckon Mazu. I hate to say it against Parramatta, but he's that guy. Sharp is a really good option. That's a smart option as well. To be different, Skelton. Yeah, Skelton. A couple of Skeltons. Skelton's the beast. Willison should kill it as well. Good option. Walsh not backing up this week. Yeah, he is not backing up this week. He, but much like the rest of Queensland, just doesn't get Origin. That's the key. We got Kiri. Yeah, Kiri. I didn't know he was below 500k. That's insane. Tungo, when Cleary's back, yeah, right now, risky. RTS, 498k. Mate, he's getting cheap though. RTS will be cheap at some point if the Warriors make a comeback, which doesn't look likely. He could be an option. Lukey as well, not a bad shout. Sam Hughes, that's a prayer. That's a prayer and a half. And then, yeah. Oh, here we go. The Origin banter's coming through now. Because I have one trade left, I'm thinking of holding Brayley this week to field 17 and then trading for Mazu next week. I have Cook for around 19. Let's cover. So you don't need Brayley then. Brayley's not important to you. I would make that trade this week because I think Mazu will outscore Brayley. Point blank. I think he'll outscore him by about 20 points, is my guess. All right. Keep going here. Caden. Let's see this team. So for you, green dots everywhere. You're looking rock solid. And then green dots all over here too. You could sell Brayley. How much cash do you have? How many trades? 4 trades, 97k. Okay, we've got a bit of trades to work with. I'm okay with using 2 trades from you with that number of trades left. I wouldn't trade anyone from your starting side. I think they're all pretty good. The question is, do you want to make a trade with Brayley and you could do Kohler, you could hold Kohler. I'd probably hold Kohler if I was you. So probably just Brayley. 97k, you're looking at sort of mid 600s. Who do you need for Brayley? Who are you thinking at? So I want to trade out Brayley and probably get Nakora or Maddo for 19. And then want to try and get a wing fullback because my wing fullback for 19 are Campbell, Kohler, and Talai. Maybe try bringing Hines. Okay. Oh, cool. Rising as well. So 35k into 14k. That's awesome. I think your wing fullbacks are fine. So Campbell, Kohler, and Talangi, I think that's okay. I would stick with that. I wouldn't be tearing my team apart for round 19. If you've got players that play, keep those players that play. That's my advice there. The trade that you suggested is a trade I was thinking about there as well. You sort of go on Brayley to Nakora or Maddo. The safer option there is Madison. You don't have, so you got Fafita as an edge back rower. Binu and Sorensen both play middle. So you're not stacked with pure edges. So I think it's a good move. Yeah. Go Brayley to Nakora. That's a really easy shout. Your captain here is Jerome Hughes. That's a great option too. I don't see an easy way for you to get Nico Hines. That's the tricky part, so I wouldn't force it. I think wait a week on Nico Hines is a fine move as well. And there's me saying, let's do it live. All right, Titans on top. Late submission, but you got in, man. That's nice. Kai Pierce-Paul as vice captain is very brave, but there's a lot of good players in this team too. Bench is good. I think CNK is a guy that you can hold on to. I think he's going to do a lot of work in this team. Ooh, what trades do we make then? Do you have any trades left? You've got 2 trades left. 251k. Okay. That's a bit of a different spot to be in. You already have Dylan Brown and Lachlan Galvin as your 2 starting halves for round 19. So part of me wanted to say, let's try and just go Kai Pierce-Paul to Nico Hines. But if you've already got Galvin and Brown, you don't really need the half for round 19. And they're both really good scorers, so you're not really looking at a dud there. And they're not guys that you're going to be selling. So I wouldn't do that then. Let's see. What other trades could you make here? If you were going to sell Kai Pierce-Paul, you could save the cash if you wanted to. And you could try to make a move. Let's see. Back rowers. I don't mind the idea of KPP to Nakora. We talked about that trade a bit, but I think KPP to Nakora for you makes a lot of sense. That's sort of where my head's at. You don't have too many. Yeah, you don't have cloggage in the back row either. So I think KPP to Nakora, save the rest of your cash, save that one trade. That would be the move I'd make. Your captaincy on Tedesco against the Tigers is not a bad option as well. He should do well on paper. It's just you never know with Tedesco, right? Like he has those quiet games randomly too, so it's a little risky. Right, and then let's keep rolling through these teams, and I'll go through some questions as well. Dogs of War sent his team at 4:39 a.m. The man does not sleep. Does not sleep. I guess man or woman. I don't know. We never know anything about anyone with these names. You guys can see me. I can't see you. That's the difference. But Dogs of War. Let's see. Good team. Tarpanay's been on fire. Good shout. Got Madison already, so we're on the roller coaster. Jerome Hughes as captain is a really good option. Herbie Farmworth, Kale Aro is a great center pairing. Backline looks good. Bench has Payne Haas. Okay, there's your first hit. You got Brent Hands, Harry Grant. Okay, you're 2 players short, and you have 4 trades left. Okay, so you can use 2 trades. That's not a problem at all. Who would we sell? The thing about Latrell Mitchell is he is pumping it this year. So Latrell's been a guy who he's been a 52 to 56 average for the last 3 years. He's doing, I was chatting to a few of the guys in one of the group chats I'm in. He's been doing a lot more kicking this year. So the kick meters are boosting up to close to a 60 average. So I think you got to hold Latrell, hold Fafita, hold Campbell, hold Haas. Because Haas, you want Haas soon anyway. You could, if you want to, sell Whiten and Kohler, but then they both play around 19. This is tough. This is actually really tough. My head's probably more likely on selling Kohler and keeping Whiten and playing one player short. I'm going to give you 2 options here. One option is that you sell Kohler and you buy, I don't mind Will Price. You could buy Will Price. I don't mind Greg Marzu as well for around 19. So one of those 2 guys, I'd probably say Greg Marzu. So Kohler for Greg Marzu is a really easy option for you. And then if you want to do a second trade, there is a case that you could make here where we target, we go cheaper instead, and we try to go Latrell Mitchell to Nico Hines. Because Latrell misses this week and also misses round 19. Nico Hines plays both of those. So that's an angle you could look for if you want to do that. But if you're a big Latrell believer, you won't do that. So I think the safe move here is Kohler out for Marzu. The more complex move is Kohler and Latrell out for a cheapie and Nico Hines. They're your 2 options there. It's totally up to you. With 4 trades left, you can make either move. It's going to be up to your risk tolerance. But the first option is probably what I would do myself. All right, and then Ree comes in. And Ree, by the way, has 0 trades. But hey, we're going to cover it anyway. So 0 trades. I'm already seeing Payne Haas in there. I'm a bit nervous for you, actually, right now. A lot of green dots. Let's keep going. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. You're 2 players short, and you have 0 trades. Captain Hughes is good. I mean, do you want to? Okay, I'm gonna throw a few options at you here. You can captain Hughes, and Hughes is a great captain option. But Hughes is the captain that most people are going for. So if you're playing with 15 players anyway, what if you just went for a Mad Dog captain? Like, what if you just went, hey, you know what? I'm going to captain Joey Manu against the Tigers. Manu hasn't been good lately, but that's an option. That's the only thing I can suggest for you, but it's a tough one. Saying that your team is pretty strong. You've got a pretty strong team. You know, like you're unlucky with Kalamatangi, Campbell, Whiten, Latrell, Fafita not playing this week, but it's a good team. You're looking good. 0 trades. It's the first one I've seen with 0 trades. That's a pretty funny one. But yeah, good luck this week with that. I think you'll score all right. I wouldn't mind going with a Mad Dog captain. Good shout here too. So how much would Nico Hines lose this week if he gets like a 50 to 70K? Captain Manu, it's crazy, but it just might work. Clockstad, trading him for Penasini. Yeah, you could do that. You get an extra player. Penasini's on the rise. I would keep Manu and hold and sell Clockstad personally. Manu is dual position. It's really nice. He's a keeper. How is it? It's good. It's as good as it can be. Look, we said we laugh at it. We did. Howarth. McKaylee to Howarth. All right, look, Howarth, the way I'm going to explain this is Howarth is a big athletic guy in a very good Storm backline with no job security. So if he comes out this week and he kills it, awesome. Nick Meaney's out for 1 to 3 weeks, and Remus Smith is on the extended bench coming back from a concussion issue. So for Howarth, he could even lose his spot before this week, right? But the upside is big there. He's a guy that I like the look of in draft leagues, stashing him there. But overall, I wouldn't be making that move with a lot of confidence. Factoring around 20 is a good thing as well. So Kevin Nakora, think about round 20 a little bit too, but I don't know. I don't think you can't worry about everything, right? And Nakora's a guy that's a borderline keeper. When Nico Hines is fit, he's that sort of 50-ish average. And this year, I think that's good enough to keep on your bench, 100%. Dillbags won't have Moses from round 19. Good shout there too. KVP, yeah, the only reason KVP to Nikora works is because they both play round 19. Thoughts on King to Stefano? I feel like it's all right. It's all right. It's kind of sideways. If you have 5+ trades, it's okay. If you have less than that, I probably wouldn't do it personally. Unless you think Stefano's a keeper. If you think Stefano's a keeper, then do this. But without that, I'm a bit iffy on it. I guess it does help you for round 19 as well. So yeah, I'll lower it. If you have 4 trades, I would do it. Longy, you said KPP in the core for me, but I'm more in need of a mid in round 19. Madison, yeah, have a crack at Madison. There is let's call it a 20% chance that Madison is a disaster. There's like a 30% chance that he's pretty mediocre, like a 40 average. And I reckon there's a 50% chance that he's a 40+ guy and is good value for you. So I like the idea of Madison. Just know that there is some risk in that. So if it does blow up, don't come back to me. That's basically it. Howard, substantially better than Smith. I agree, but isn't he a back rower? That's the tough part. I still think he's better. So yeah, it's not a diss on Smith. It's more, I think Howard's a freak. KPP versus Sorensen. Keep Sorensen over KPP for sure. Dual position is really nice. Sorensen's scoring has to come back. And when Cleary comes back, Sorensen could go back to being like a 50 average guy. So don't mind that. Howarth on the wing as well. Yeah, I think he's played around a few different spots. I've seen him come on the back row quite a bit too. So could be anything. 20, 30, 50 splits. Yeah, you're getting the stat profile, man. Look, Madison should play good minutes in this Parramatta side. It's just we don't know, right? So I can normally tell you what's going to happen at Parramatta, but what Trent Barrett's in, you know what I mean? Like we've just had Hopgood injured. There's a lot of variables right now that mean Jahu and myself both can't make the call on Parramatta and what's going to happen there. Dillbags to Hines. Yeah, I don't mind that. You're getting a top gun keeper, so that's good. I would probably try to sell someone else instead, but that's an okay option. Stefano has to be the closest non-keeper mid to a keeper. Then yeah, he's on that border. The tough thing is when they have all their players come back, his minutes can fade and he can be like a 45 average, but he does have the ability to bounce up as well. So for next month, he should be really solid. All right, cool. That is oh my God, what's it called? It's called Pimp My Team. That is Pimp My Team done and dusted for this week. Guys, hop on Discord as well. We have the game day chats too. Feel free to shoot me a message as well if one of your team was done. And if you have any alternative trade ideas and you want to run them by me, happy to have a look at those. Not too much loopholing. We normally talk about loopholing as well, but loopholes are pretty clean this week with small rosters. So I think we're all sharp. I'll answer this last couple of questions too. Sorensen, JDB, 2 Hines and Sharp is okay. Sharp is really risky, so I'd probably rethink those trades. And then Howarth to get the dual position edge center. Yeah, probably round 22, round 21. I think that's when the next dual positions come in. But that's when we do it. And yes, we should do. All right. See you guys. Good luck this week. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good night. Peace out.